I didn't write a speech, no notes. I'm glad I didn't because I couldn't possibly come close to what's already been said. I really am overwhelmed. But the other reason I didn't write a speech is because I feel like I'm talking to my family. So you'll forgive me if my thoughts are a little random, but let me just share some of them with you. 35 years ago, almost to the week, I had a job interview with Abbott Giles. I had quit smoking 4 days before the interview, so it's a wonder that I got hired, but you didn't know that. He handed me a sheet of paper, and he said, with some really impressive titles on it. He said, would you feel comfortable teaching these? And of course, I had been home raising children for a few years, and my vocabulary had totally deteriorated, and I wouldn't feel comfortable teaching anything, but I said, sure. And I started to prepare for class. This was, of course, in June, and the class was in September. You all know I have a type A personality. Lorraine says I'm a triple A. And so, of course, I was over-prepared, and I'll never forget my first day of class. I know you're supposed to talk about what you're going to do, the structure of the course, how things are going to be graded, what's going to count, but I didn't know any of that. So I just launched right into teaching. And I'm discussing the history of the novel and 18th century fiction. I'm going on, and all of a sudden I hear a kid in the back of the room say to his friend, what the hell is she doing? But I was undaunted, and I kept coming back. You know, I've heard people say that teaching is a combination of parenting and performing, and obviously it is. And sometimes I've wondered if my teaching has impacted my parenting or my parenting has impacted my teaching, but clearly those two are very, very much related. And I guess my instincts as a parent are what made me love guidance so much. But sometimes I had to sort of refrain from my parenting instincts. I remember my second or third year, I don't remember any of you guys were in the classroom, but I had all seniors, and it was in the afternoon, and it started to snow. I mean, it was really snowing heavy. And you all know that teenage drivers are terrible, especially if they get their license in the wintertime. So I said to the boys, okay, how many of you drove to school today? And they all raised their hand. I said, okay, now I let you go right now. You promise me you'll go right to your car and go right home. And of course they said yes. And I let them out of the room. And standing at the bottom of the stairwell was Father Manis, may his soul rest in peace. He was the assistant headmaster. And he said, where are you boys going? Where are you boys coming from? And then, of course, he came right to my room and he said, and since when are you running this school? So those are a few of the things, a few of the stumbling missteps along the way, but nevertheless, I learned how to do it. When I thought about saying something today, I rejected the idea of any philosophical, educational philosophy kinds of stuff because I really don't have any, and you probably heard it from me at lunch anyway. Instead, I started to try and understand why I've been so satisfied here for such a long time, and I guess successful. And I realized that the reason for that is because who Delbarton is and how Delbarton operates is perfectly in sync with who I am. And I found that out at the very beginning. Let me just give you some idea of some thoughts that I had. The very fact that we don't have bells at end of class, that shows respect for the teacher. You're not interrupted in the middle of a debate or a discussion or a profound statement. The fact that we have no detentions, we have discipline through conversation, it shows the kind of trust we put in our students and likewise in our teachers and the kind of responsibility we give them. And 99.9% of the time they rise to that level. The fact that we have so much autonomy, I honestly think that's sacred. Teachers are allowed to be who they are. They're allowed to experiment. They're allowed to find their own way, develop their own strategies. I could never have worked in a bureaucratic administration where I had to submit lesson plans every day, or even worse, follow someone else's lesson plans. I had to do it my way. I remember one year when I was teaching AP English, and my colleague Joanna Sanferrari said, I think we should teach Catch-22. And I said, okay, but I've never read it. And she said, well, that doesn't matter. So I was stupidly self-confident enough by that time that I said, okay, I'll teach the book. And I assigned 40 pages of Catch-22. Those were the days when kids would actually read 40 pages. And I went home and I read the 40 pages, and I was in a panic. I don't know how many of you have read Catch-22, but the first 40 pages are chaos. And I said to myself, I can't teach this book. I don't know what's going on here. So I came in the next day and I said to the boys, okay, let's take some, these were the days where we had chalk. Let's write down all the characters that were introduced in these first 40 pages, and we covered the board with 52 names, so you can understand why I was in such a panic. But the very fact that I was given the liberty to do something so unusual really is what made this such a special place. And the freedom that I was given as an English teacher. You know, Giles and I came of age in the 60s, and we really believed that no idea is not worth entertaining. And I remember Abbott Gilardi was the headmaster when I was hired, who expressed to me that the job of an English teacher is to open young minds to new ideas. There is nothing more exhilarating to be told as an English teacher. And so when I think back of those qualities, the respect, the trust, the autonomy, and the freedom, all of which have unfortunately disappeared in our public school system, but are still alive and well here. These are the qualities and the values that make Delbarton an environment that nurtures and fosters distinguished educators. And I hope that never changes. So I thank you all very much. I thank those of you who spoke about me. I'm so grateful and so touched. And I'm especially proud to receive